Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and almost good night. I like Jim Carrey. He's putting some good stuff back in the day. How are you doing, Danny?
I don't think anything he's done has changed. He's still the exact same person. He never acted. It was just him
Just
being
him?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
agree
think
completely.
it does surprise me sometimes that he says some very wise things. I mean, you hear him sometimes like, wow, dude, did you read that in a book or something? Or is it just like you? And yeah, it's surprising it was just him.
Hey, it's just like us. We're, us dads, we're witty. We got good comebacks. We got good,
Yeah,
good, lines here and all that good stuff.
that's right.
So,
On
but
it.
hey, man, it is getting dangerously close to school starting back up again. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you're just like, it cannot get here soon enough. Honestly, because I would like to have my days back to be able to get things done without having to entertain two monkeys at the same time. Or maybe you're dreading it. I don't know. Where are you at in that boat?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Completely ready. I'm not ready. Like my house isn't ready. My kids aren't ready. We still need all the things, but yeah, I'm ready. I have the ability because my kids are all, I mean, they're 9 and up, so they are pretty well self-sustaining at this point. You know, I they have to ask me like, I mean, I cook and I do the big things, but realistically, my kids are easy,
Yeah.
easy, you know. But I'm not ready.
Do
We're
you
not
still go out
ready.
to the store like to go get your stuff with the entire crew,
For
or are
school
you?
supplies,
Yeah, school supplies. Or do you just, or is there a
what?
list, like does the school provide you with like, hey, if you
Yeah.
click on this, you can just buy it all and it'll be here.
I don't know if they have that set up yet, but they did that last year. I
Okay.
haven't seen it this year because I think they're still revamping it a little bit. But my originally we had this for the August budget because we're kids are going back the 5th of September. I think it's the 5th. It's the Tuesday, it's the day after Labor Day.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, I need those in place. I can't wait till September 1st. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of other things that we're doing this month. And you and I are going on a trip, and we
Yep.
have my kid going off to college the week after that, and he's actually going on his own solo trip to a concert in Ohio next week as well. So we're spending a lot of
Oh.
money that we weren't really we just weren't prepared for everything basically. And so Marnie said, "Well, can you wait until September 1st?" So
Ooh.
originally, my idea was, and I got all the kids, well, I got the littles to print out their school sheet, their supply sheet. And what we were going to do is take them and make a little shopping trip. I have a central basket and I have them go over and, pull the things, and then we come back and check it off their list and, make it a little fun thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not going to do that now. Yeah, September 1st, I'll have an Amazon order probably on its way. That's probably going to be the fastest. The school supplies here, don't remember, I'm in a small town, so they don't keep them on hand.
Mm.
That Wednesday, they'll be gone. Everything will be shipped back to wherever they keep it. They'll put in, well, they'll have Halloween stuff in that section or something. I mean, they immediately switch it over. You have to prep here. You do not get any openings on that. You got to have it ready. So September 1st, yeah, I'll be probably putting in an order, and then get all
I
three of those kids and off they
it's
go.
it's setups like that that make me miss Kmart. Remember you used to be able to do the
Yeah.
layaway.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that was always nice because yeah, you could definitely scoot in there, get what you needed, be like, I'm gonna hold this over here, and
Yep.
and then come back 2 weeks later, be like, hey, I got my paycheck. All right, let's get this. Let's do
And
this
they
thing.
still have layaway in places, but
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
few and
know
far
that.
between.
Yeah, we go to the Kohl's here,
Oh, okay,
actually,
yeah.
and it has layaway, and I'm like, huh, well, that's neat. We went actually to, I think, return an Amazon product or something. So we had to go back to the back, and it was like, you want layaways or do you want to return? And I'm like, layaways. Wow. All
Wow, you're
right.
like, I didn't know I walked through the time machine.
I
Awesome.
just want to lay away something so that I feel I can remember my mom, stressing out about money.
Right? No kidding. I'm gonna put these Reeboks pumps on layaway.
Nice. And
There we go.
my fake members only jacket.
Yeah, exactly,
That might be a
exactly.
little old for you. Might be a little old for almost everybody that listens, but
Oh no, I no members jacket. Yep, I got that all. That's from my era
members
too.
only
So,
jacket and parachute pants. And I was like,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
And then I got beat up because I was in uh, Georgia school in the 80s wearing parachute pants. And yeah, they didn't like that. That didn't go over well. There was like three kids, maybe four, that were into the electric boogaloo. One of them was in breakdancing. He came down from, I think, New Jersey or New York, and
Yeah.
he was awesome. I mean, he was doing the full windmills and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah, man. And I can't move at all. I can't dance. I look dumb dancing, but I'm like doing it anyway. And
Well, that was an Olympic sport this year too. It was breakdancing,
yeah,
which was
it shouldn't
wild to watch.
be. Oh my God. I'm so, you know, Australia's been talking a lot of smack from what I hear,
Oh yeah.
coming up to the Olympics, and like per capita, how many awards, how many medals they've won compared to other countries. And I'm like, cool, 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 cool. And then the karma from that evidently is their breakdance competition, because it was, I mean, there's
Only
so
their
many pictures. The one
yeah.
dude doing the one thing, he looks like he's a velociraptor, and I found him in memes everywhere in that pose as a velociraptor in Jurassic Park,
Yep.
just all over the place. So they open themselves up a lot there, and I have to say they embarrass themselves. That's
It's
what
all
I think.
good. That's, they're down under. It's all good.
I don't think it should be
Well,
a sport. That's just me.
it's weird. Yeah, it doesn't really make for a sport to me either, but
It's dancing.
yeah,
Have a
well,
dance competition, right? Not a
I would rather
sports
see
competition, but
I would rather see ballroom dancing as an Olympic sport versus
interesting.
break dancing because I just feel like there's a lot more to that. But regardless,
Ooh,
it's all good.
that's old. That's very old of you to say that. Have you seen the way young people that is, dance?
Well, you want to bring square
I
dancing back?
mean,
Let's do that.
no clogging, no, none of that. I love line dancing and rounders, but I wouldn't ask for the Olympics to
No,
entertain that. No,
no,
it's
no,
not
we're
an
not doing
Olympic
that.
thing. Who's the
Oh my
best
goodness.
line dancer? Oh God, no. It's just
Yeah,
too
that's
much.
it's definitely. So definitely getting back to school things. So the other thing that's with, school supplies and stuff like that, which by the way, too, like I find it that there's different avenues for getting school supplies too if you're in if you're in a pinch or whatever, like, especially financially, all of the one income families that are trying to make it work, like
Hmm.
don't feel bad about going to the back to school giveaways that they have. Like they've got some great stuff out there, and they're just wanting to help. And honestly, like there's nothing wrong with getting involved with those. And
Yeah.
there's so many of them. Like that's the thing that I seen a lot here in Cincinnati. A lot of the rec centers had them and things like that. So
Hmm.
definitely keep an eye, for anybody that's, like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, just know there's plenty of spaces out there. Another thing too is also like for teachers is the crayons to computers program, which is kind of a
The
cool
what
thing.
to computers?
It's called crayons to computers. Basically
Well,
what it
wait,
is.
no. I'm sorry. I have
He's
stopped
got to
you.
search it.
Crayon,
Crayons, fine, crayons.
crayon. Okay, go ahead.
Golly, here we go.
I
Yeah,
just
so
I had to get on the same page with you. Like, we talk about cranberries. Well, crayons. Okay, so
crayons.
crayons.
Crayons to Computers is an organization that collects supplies and also donations to be able to allow teachers to come in and get supplies that they know that they're going to have kids who are going to show up with maybe not everything, maybe not anything. And instead of them having to use their own money for it, they can,
Very good.
have this great resource for that. So we at our brewery, we're actually working with them and collecting money by $1 from every pint is being collected as a donation, and then we also have baskets there where we're actually collecting school supplies. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's the one thing like a lot of breweries do well is getting involved with other nonprofits. So and I love
I
that.
would agree, and it's a good thing that they do because of the amount. And you mentioned a minute ago, but don't feel bad about taking. If you need these things, take these things. That's what they're
Yeah.
for. I can't imagine anybody feeling bad about that. I understand why some people would, because there's a certain amount of shaming of, oh, well, you don't have enough money to, pay for your kids. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. I mean, we're doing very well. I just want to say that's not a boast or anything, but Marnie and I are, well, she's middle aged and I'm old. So we've had decades to build up to this place where we're at. Well, we're very comfortable,
Yeah.
but it's not something like if we had to go out, like if we'd had to do it this month, we'd had to cancel something. We had to change something. There's just
Yep.
not enough. They're so expensive. You'll spend hundreds of dollars if you're not careful.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I mean, if
use
you even got to
every
buy
opportunity.
clothes and shoes and
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, not
all that
just
stuff.
pencils and paper, but all the stuff your kid's going to need,
Yeah.
especially when they're young and they're growing so fast.
Oh yeah.
Man, I loved it that one of my four kids now has a shoe size that will never change. That'll always their foot
Right?
is
Yeah.
as big as it will ever be, and that's it. We're done. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yep.
Because every season basically I would go through and I have a list of everybody's sizes because there's just I won't remember it and I have to update it. Oh, are you
Yeah.
still you're not wearing a whatever, you're not wearing a 4 anymore, you're wearing a 5. Okay, cool. Or a 6 or whatever. And I love it. But the amount of money that we're going to spend this year just on coats maybe, but shoes,
Oh yeah, that too.
pants.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you just everything you have to deal with.
I
So
will
yeah, if
say,
you
yeah,
get
take
help where you
advantage.
need it, and
Yeah.
maybe you can't feel pride in that. Maybe it bothers you. Personally, I support you 100%.
Heck yeah.
Find that deal. Pick up. That's
Definitely.
why people do it, is
Yep.
so that because they know either they've been there and other people. I've been there and I needed money. I
Yep.
needed pencils and I didn't have any pencils. That's cool. That's what they're for. So
I
yeah,
a
take
couple of years
advantage
a
of that.
couple of years ago, it was really cool. It's like I said, the rec centers around here, like they do back to school, like it's usually a big like thing. Like they have all kinds of fun stuff, and then like they also give away different things. This one in my neighborhood actually was really cool. They partnered with a organization that collects tennis shoes. Like they go to different like
Hmm.
um different people that make tennis shoes and say, hey, like, would you donate like a lot or a pallet of tennis shoes or whatever? And it was
Nice.
so cool because like this was neat too. Like they would basically it was just the kids, so the adults weren't there. Like the adults just hung outside, like they went into this gym, you could see them in there doing their thing, but like one of their volunteers would take an individual kid and then they would get to go shopping and like get all these different like items, and then they got a brand new pair of tennis shoes as well. So and what was cool about it too was that they would have them try their shoes on. They would take the shoes that they wore in and they would put them in the box, so they got to walk out of the event with a pair of brand new tennis shoes on, which was
Nice.
really cool.
Yeah.
And that was the thing like we ran into a couple years ago where it was like, oh crap, like we have bought all these things and they need new tennis shoes, and shoot, like I like one, I don't have the time, and two, like I don't have the money for it right now.
Hmm.
And then I saw that event and I was just like, praise the Lord, like here we
Hmm.
go. So that's those, I love that there's that kind of stuff around because it's super helpful, and
Absolutely. And
it's so
take
expensive
advantage
now.
of it. If you need
Yeah.
it, you need it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely.
You
Definitely.
know.
Well, so kind of switching gears. So before school starts for us, we got a couple of trips going on for both of us actually. I leave here shortly with my family to go to Washington D.C. for a few days just as the family, and
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. I've got a little lunch place picked out for like the halfway point at this little like classic diner in Pennsylvania. Um,
Nice.
that like I was just looking for a place and all of a sudden this thing like popped up on the map and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I mean, like we're talking roadside diner, like straight out of the 40s and 50s. Like I was just like,
Nice.
yes, this is gonna be great. I was like, it's just missing the Eat at Joe's neon sign. Uh type of deal with it. But I'm pretty excited about it. just, getting that good old like American hamburger type of cheeseburger type of deal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we're doing that and spending the first few days in DC as a family, and I'm the only one who's been there. Like my
Oh,
my wife didn't get a go when she was in eighth grade, like most people do. Of course, my kids are young. I mean, I guess I didn't realize that like that's not a thing until like I talked to her about it. She was like, "No, like we didn't do anything like that." And I was like, "Oh wow,
well,
I
you
thought
know,
like
I
most schools."
didn't. So, and I'm pretty sure my school didn't, but yeah, my oldest did.
Yeah.
Went to, oh, no, actually he went to New York.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have the option of Washington D.C. that year, but yeah, it's a great place. Like the
Yeah.
Smiths. Oh, anyway, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
I
Like
rabbit trail off again.
no, you're fine. Yeah, we were planning on hitting the Smithsonian's. We're actually staying only a couple blocks from the Smithsonian, which is going to be amazing. Just
Oh yeah.
we're only a few blocks away too from the U.S. Capitol, which we tried to get a tour with uh, Washington D.C. Or sorry, can't even talk. Tried to get a tour with the White House, and I put in for a few months ago, and they said that the president would be there.
Wow.
Surprisingly, amazing.
Yeah.
I figured he'd be out campaigning.
Right.
Hmm.
But no.
But no. So that was kind of interesting how all of that puzzle aligned. Um, and then so we got that. Instead of going on that tour, we actually got a US Capitol guided tour. So that's really cool.
Very
Look,
cool.
so looking forward to that. And then just getting to see the sights and really just enjoying time with family. The kids are looking forward to the pool at the hotel. Like it's their biggest thing.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
As it should be.
but I mean, other than that, like it's just gonna be a fun few days. And then after that, uh they go home. And then I get to hang out with you.
Oh yeah. Now you get any time by yourself between those two? Or are they leaving like Sunday or Saturday and I'm in on Sunday?
So they're leaving like Sunday morning, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so yeah, it'll be like they leave and then you're coming in. However,
Walking in.
I am in the process of trying to decide if I want to maybe do something prior to that, cuz like they're going to drop me off at the hotel that we're
Mhm.
staying at,
Okay.
but like our room ain't going to be ready for a while.
Yeah.
So I'll basically just like leave my luggage with them kind of deal. Like, it's like, hey, like hold on to this. And that way I can go do something else. But I'm talking about taking a train maybe up to Baltimore possibly and
Mhm.
hitting a Red Sox Orioles game.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Smoke alarm is going off.
I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
I'd have yelled, "Go change your battery." 'Cause I don't know how people live with that beeping. It yeah.
Yeah, she's working on trying to figure it out. I'm glad you can't hear it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's
so
okay.
yeah, so going to Baltimore maybe to pick up a game. I know
Mhm.
I'm gonna be going to the Nationals versus the Rockies game that Tuesday that week with Chris Griffin and JHG. So I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
and
do want to say, just so that everybody's aware, I was absolutely invited to that game, but I've chosen not to go because I really wouldn't enjoy it. I would have to be so high to really just to sit through that. I it's just not my thing. And I want to say that because I want everybody to understand that I was invited, that everybody wants me to go, but
he
it's
said
my
he'd rather read a
choice.
book
So,
than go to the
so
game. That's what he told me.
yes, yes. Read a book, sit in the
All
room
good.
well and read a book together.
It's all
Well, I mean,
good.
there are a lot of things we could do together and we'd have fun, but
Yeah.
realistically, I just don't think I would be beneficial to
Yeah.
that trip. I would,
There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be doing together that week
Mhm.
anyway. I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, like
I do want to see the other guys you're hanging out with. I at least want to, maybe we can get dinner together or something before or after,
yeah,
but I want to at least say hi, you know. But
definitely.
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt your story, but I did want
No, you're
everybody to
fine.
understand. Brock's not excluding me.
It's
He's
all
just
good. I
got
think by this
interests
point,
that
if
I
you
don't
listen
like.
to this podcast enough, people know sports ball is not your thing, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
I'm
uh,
happy for you all though, because that's gonna be a great event.
yeah, it's
You
gonna be
know,
fun. We're having a good
I
time.
mean, yeah, go to a game with your buddies. That's up there. That's like top 5 things in the world.
Yeah.
That's good.
But the reason that what's going on too, because we didn't really explain this too much, is we're going to
Yeah.
the podcast movement, which is basically the world's largest podcast trade show.
Mhm.
And it's sponsored by Paramount Pictures. Their app is, which is crazy. They also are sponsored by iHeartRadio and Spotify, and
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff that we have, that we're involved with as far as podcasting goes. And then just all these amazing breakout sessions and keynote speakers and
Mhm.
all, just so much stuff to be had. I find it interesting that their schedule and stuff, like I think they have one event where like it starts at like 9 o'clock at night and goes till noon. They're going to like Top Golf, and I told Corey that I was just like, yeah, I think Annie and I will probably just go get some scotch
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I'm
just
not
hang out.
it's awful late.
I was like, I'd be
9
in bed.
p.m.
Yeah.
is pretty much it for me.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I would be turning in about 9, 10 o'clock so I can get up the next morning to be able to actually go to the things that are happening in the morning.
Right. Yep.
It's like we'll know who's trailing in the morning, who spent
Mhm.
the night
Yeah,
up.
right. Or they walk in like, I was in the room next door for the last 9 hours, but
Yeah.
what's our keynote today?
Exactly. So definitely a very interesting swath of generations that I think will be
Mhm.
at the convention. So that's gonna be cool. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
And it's
Yeah.
incredibly busy. I mean,
Yeah, it
looking at
is.
their schedule, it starts like every morning starts at 9, but they have yoga before that.
Yep.
So get up, do some yoga at 7:30 or whatever, and then go to the first keynote block, which basically we have 2 or 3 keynotes. Which one do you want to go to? Which
Right.
blows my mind. And then they have so many breakouts and things are just going constantly. And like you said, all night long. And I want to reiterate too that the podcast movement is a lot of fun, right? It is there's parties going on. You see their ads, they have people dancing, having
Oh
drinks
yeah, there's
together,
so
and just
much.
having a fun time. And you have to look at the people that are probably doing podcasts. Most of them are fairly outgoing. That's why you're doing it, right? You have a passion, you want to tell people about it. So there's a part of that, right? That is there, that exists. However, the amount of information that they're offering, the topics that revolve around everything from equipment to marketing to when you should call a podcast coach, there's so many things about the trade,
Yeah.
of producing a podcast, and it's so much more than I think people really realize. I hope most people enjoy our podcast. I guess all of our listeners enjoy it, and I love that. But the reality of it is this: for a lot of people, this is a much more business oriented thing.
Oh yeah.
They don't have I would say, the fortune that we have to have a huge organization that just wants a podcast to talk about dad stuff, right? So
Yeah.
they're really moving towards how they can market it, how they can brand it, and a lot of that stuff. I'm looking at it like, I don't want to. Do I need to know how to market? Yes, actually, because this is an organization that we want people to know about. Look at that. Hey, Brock,
Marketing.
do we have merch?
We have
Right?
merch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
merch. Wearing
We
merch. You got to put a picture of that somewhere, aren't you?
I will
Be a
have to
surprise.
I will definitely have to put a picture of this up. But yeah, we have merch. I'm wearing
Brock
a
is
home
wearing. Go
dad
ahead.
chat hat. Yeah.
Yeah, a
Got a
trucker hat.
very nice, yeah, trucker hat.
Mhm. Nice color
To
choice, man.
thank you to Bratz Printing here in Cincinnati, Ohio, for definitely getting this order put together very quickly. It helps knowing people.
Yep.
And they also did our first round of t-shirts as well, which we will have that up as part of the Teespring store here pretty soon too. So that way it
Sweet.
can be printed and just have it shipped straight to you. So that's another exciting thing as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, so keep an eye out for those things. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff like, you wear this stuff out, people see it, they start asking questions, and that's how, this podcast gets spread around word of mouth. And
Hmm.
it's a unique enough logo too that people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
what is that? Like, what does that
It's with a
mean? I always
cup of
get people,
coffee.
yeah, I always get people too. They're like, why doesn't it say podcast afterwards? And it's like, I mean, it kind of goes almost unexplanatory. Like, you don't, I feel like saying podcast and chat, like, it's obvious that those two things are along the same line. Like, so I, I'm very excited though about just having this stuff out, and I'm really glad that we got it in time to wear to the podcast movement, because I think it's going to definitely you know turn some heads. I think the fact that we have on the back of our shirt, it says like number one at home dad podcast, like number one podcast for at home dads. Like, either somebody's be like, oh, that's really cool, or somebody's be like, what makes you think that you get to claim that? Like, and it's like, oh, bring it on, let's go. Like, let's talk. I can't wait. Like, I'm hoping somebody's like, well, how do you get a claim? How do you get to do that? Like, well, like, we've got a legit source that's put us
Actually
up at the
have
top of the
someone that's
list.
right that has gone out there and listened to him.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm that's why I'm really glad that we get to put it on a shirt and promote it, and it'll hopefully strike up some conversations. But yeah, this event that week is going to be just a blast. There's just so many things to do with it, and I think too, like, there's going to Home Dad Con and everything that Home Dad Con is, which still it also too has a lot of things, lots of things to learn,
Yes.
just a great experience. But the difference in what Home Dad Con is to the podcast movement, and like the things that are offered, I think we're gonna find, we get a lot of folks sometimes that are like, well, why does it cost so much to go to Home Dad Con? What is, like, what am I getting out of this? The one thing that I have seen from the two differences right off the bat is the fact that we're on our own for food. It seems
Yeah.
like I don't see anything in there like, hey, there's a lunch. Hey, there's a dinner.
Nope.
No, that's us. Like, we got to figure that out on our own. And that is not something that happens at Home Dad Con, because lunch is provided on the days that we're there. Dinner, you got the Friday night dinner, Thursday night even. There's
Convention Eve.
Convention Eve. So you get two nights of dinners, 2 days of lunches. Breakfast is always there too, which is nice. And
man, the Drury, they are the best. All right. If we
that
had a
hotel is
Drury
beautiful.
hotel like that in because they have a 5:30 food stop. I don't remember
That
what
too.
they call it. So
Yeah,
but
it's like
hey,
it's like a happy hour basically.
yeah, it's basically a food happy hour. Like, what?
Yep.
I mean, we're looking at this hotel. All right. And I hate to sidetrack, but we keep
No,
looking at
you're
it. We
fine.
keep coming back to it to pick St. Louis, like this really looks like perfect. And I am sitting there in the board meeting and I'm like, okay, what's wrong with this place? Does it have ghost rats or something? What is going on? Because there's no reason that this hotel right in front of the arch,
Yeah.
and with this hundreds of years of history and all of the food and the attached steakhouse and just everything, just on and on and on. I'm like, something's wrong. Something's they don't have any parking. What is it? We can't find anything. They're the best hotel. And I love Drury. I wish we had one that we could access in every city. So yeah, I'm expecting. Now we're staying at the Gaylord.
We're staying at a gay. I was gonna say we're staying at
Washington.
a Gaylord, and that
Bar's
is
too high. Bar's too high. They're not gonna match up. Drury's
It's
better.
a very nice hotel though. I mean,
Isn't it? Yeah.
it is a freaking resort, and it looks like it's like a glass menagerie with a city and like with a town inside of it. Really, I mean, I was looking at the fact, like, when you pull it up, it's not like, oh, here's the hotel. It's like, here's this massive building, and oh yeah, by the way, they got a bar here, they got a restaurant here, they got a cafe there, like all this different stuff.
It's amazing.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it's insane. And the one thing that I am most interested in, I will say this, is the 80s 90s bar that they have up on the roof. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
all neon
Haven't seen it.
lights and arcade games, and it's really cool. They're gonna have some sort of like mixer or something up there that I've seen, but it looks like a cool little space to hang out in. And I was like, all right, and hang out there, and you got the
Yeah,
National Harbor off to your side and there, and it's just kind of a neat little
up there with all the
cocktail
old
room
people.
space. Hey, it's okay. We will know the video. We will know the video games better. They got Pong up there actually. They have they had
Wow.
Pong up there on a flat table. So that was really cool. I was like, oh, cool,
Wow.
man.
Go
Yeah,
back, man. Throw
I
me
know,
way
right?
back. That's
Yeah. So,
incredible.
but just it is definitely a different space. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think it's also fun too, just to kind of like, networking and things like that, get all the people that we're gonna be meeting, but also too, like there are people that we know from having on this podcast who live in the vicinity of Washington, D.C.,
Hmm.
who like reached out and were like, "Hey, you're gonna be there. Like, can we get together and hang out?" And so there's
Right.
a little bit of that going on too, which is exciting. I actually was talking with Jeffrey Bernstein about it a little bit, and
Hmm.
he was like, "I'd be willing to make a 2 hour train ride down to like come see you guys." And I was like, "Well, let's see how it all works out." I was like, "There's a lot going on that week,
That's a
so."
big commitment, buddy. But
Well,
yeah.
he said he owes a train ride to his kids. Like they try to do a train ride
Oh,
every summer, so
get to
that's
meet his kids. All right.
so you get a
That's,
yeah, put those
I mean,
two
I
things
love him.
together.
I love, I wouldn't ask him to do it, but if, you're bringing your kids, you're playing my song there.
Yeah, they're cute kids too, so
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, so
And
that's
adorably polite, I'm sure.
adorably polite. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what's going on with kind of all those different aspects to it. Um yeah, it's going to be exciting. And then when I get back, schools will have already started for my kids. Like I actually missed like the first 2 days of school this
Oof.
year because we'll be there in DC.
Yeah.
Um, but it's all good. It's kind of stressing Corey out a little bit, but um,
Understandable.
we're gonna make it happen. So
Well,
um,
I've worked this week. So we have this week and then next week we're going. And then the week after we go to
yeah,
school. Right.
yeah.
So I've been working this week to get my kids back on their bedtime schedule and to get them back closer to their waking up schedule, more importantly. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to push them like 8 a.m. Just get up at 8 a.m. And if you can get yourself up, then you can stay up to, this time. And again, if you can't get yourself up, then we're going to back it up. You go to bed earlier, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm going to put all this work in it. All this week I'm doing this. And next week I'm gone. And what are the chances? What are the chances that they will maintain that?
Hmm.
Because I know Marnie can handle it, but she's got enough to do, right? There's a reason
When the
I'm an
cat's
at-home
away,
dad.
man, the mice will play.
Marnie's just gonna be like, I can't put up with that crap. I got to do this, this, and this. I am not gonna try it, and I
Right?
will agree. I will tell her, I agree with you 100%. If you can't do it, I'm not gonna make you feel bad about that because I know how much work it is because
Yeah.
I have to do it every day. And man, I will tell you the most frustrating thing of the entire summer. I've had a pretty good summer. I am ready for the kids to go back, but I haven't been overwhelmed a lot. I haven't really been pushed to my limit. But boy, my 15-year-old
Uh-oh.
arguing with me about
Mm-hmm.
when he needs to get up and when he needs to go to bed. And I'm like, son, this isn't up for discussion. You need to be in bed in 15 minutes. And I'm not, there's no or else. There's nothing. This is how we're doing it. And I got him up yesterday at like 8:05. And then he argued with me that he got himself up. Well, I would have got up if you hadn't. I mean, I was getting up. I'm like, you were dead to the world, dude. So I let him sleep this morning. I'm like, hey, well, whatever. Get yourself up in the morning. And 8:15, I went in and woke him up.
Oh.
And he comes out and I'm like, I want you to recognize that you did not get yourself up. So you need to go to bed earlier. Do you understand? He's like, well, I mean, in my defense, no, there is no defense at this point, buddy. You got to get on this schedule. So, and the weirdest part of it all was setting their new bedtimes with them. And Fabian is not a part of that. He doesn't have a bedtime anymore.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
an adult and he's going to college like the week after, or like the third week in August. He's gone.
Yep.
He's an adult officially. We voted today. went to our local election for like county clerks and stuff like that. And there's a amendment to the state constitution that we wanted to vote on. And yeah, he went
Wow.
with me and he voted. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is mind blowing. I mean, talk about a milestone or just like, how did we get here? Because again, I remember holding him in one arm and he was a big baby, but his big old head in my hand and just like, look at you, you're so cute. And now he's going, right? So it's
Yeah.
disconcerting. I'm looking, I'm like, so you guys need to go to bed by 9. You need to go to bed by 9:30, dude. And I looked at Fabian, I'm like, oh, nope. You don't have a bedtime. Never
You,
mind.
you pick your own bedtime and deal with
You
your own consequences
right,
of that
exactly,
bedtime.
exactly. And he's done so well. Hasn't missed a day of work. Has just he doesn't like it, but he doesn't miss a day. Gets
Yeah.
himself up, gets himself showered and out the door, plenty of time. And I'm like, yeah, all right, this kid's gonna do okay.
Welcome to the real world. That's where it's
Right.
at for
This
sure.
is where it
I
starts
saw
sucking.
I did see where our good friends Mick and Shannon and all those guys, they do the dad trip every year,
Yeah.
and they're out on that with their kids, and I love it. Like Shannon was on, so he's really starting to lean into TikTok and things like that, and he had a video of them walking through Memphis, and he's pulling the kids in and asking them like, how old were you when you went on this for the very first time? Or for some of them, he's like, how tall were you when you went on for this for the very first time? And,
Yeah.
these kids were 3, 4 years old, and now they're, some of them are getting ready to graduate, and others of them are, in their last couple of years of high school and stuff. And it was just
Mind
so neat.
blowing.
Like you could see him getting like choked up about it because, that's
Yeah.
quite a journey.
Yeah.
Just they've gotten to do some amazing things. I was like, I sent him a message. I was like, you guys are just so inspirational. Like, I mean, really, like I wish that was something that I had maybe put into place back in the day. Like I still feel like it's something that I'd like to try to do because there's a few other dads here in the area that are stay-at-home dads, and I think it would be fun for us to just be like, all right, like let's do a week and go, kind of do a little road trip or whatever with the kids and just have
Mm-hmm.
some fun. I think especially too, like, right before they go off, maybe like their last year of high school or going into college, like having that time to just sort of bond with them a little bit. Even if it's something like, I don't know if I really want to go do this or whatever, when you go off to college, sometimes you kind of have a moment of like serious homesickness and being able to think back to like, that was that was a great time, or I really, I actually really did enjoy going on that trip, that kind of deal. I know for
Yeah.
me, like when I was in college, like part of me was like, I just want to get out, away from
Yeah.
everything, like, and just kind of have my own life. But then certain things take place and you're like, oh man, like I kind of miss my parents. Like I kind of, there are these different things that
Mm-hmm.
took place. Like I remember watching the movie Braveheart for the first time
Mm-hmm.
uh in college, and oh my gosh, the emotions. I wrote like a big long letter to my dad, like just being like, I hope that I could, be the guy that, you raised me to be. Like I kind of, like, all this different stuff. And my mom like called. I remember my mom calling me like and was just like, "You made your dad cry." I'm like, "Well, I was crying, so perfect."
Right. Yeah.
But it's just stuff like that, like it's
I,
important.
I would recommend, especially in this modern age that we live in, that everyone starts an email for their child
Oh
and
yeah,
sends
yeah,
their child an email once a year, just nothing big, so that when they reach this point, they can look at that and go, okay, here's the things that we went through in our life together, you know,
yep.
and make a trip. Fabi and I are going somewhere before the end of the year. We weren't able to make it earlier in the summer because of other trips and what have you. And I really, really wanted to go with him on this. He's going to go see the band Glass Animals down in Ohio. So he's
Wait, is he
solo
coming down to
tripping.
me? Is he coming down to
I
Cincinnati?
I not Cincinnati, no. I don't remember where he's
Okay, I
going.
said they're playing in Cincinnati, so
Yeah. It wasn't Cincinnati because of the dates or something like that. He
okay,
planned the whole thing, which
that's cool.
was delightful and hilarious because I'm like, okay, so what about your hotel? Oh, I'll probably stay here. Yeah, yeah. Did you call them and ask them if an 18-year-old can make reservations?
Should be able to.
Or
He's an
17-year-old.
adult.
I'm sorry, 17-year-old. 17-year-old can make
Oh,
reservations
17.
because this is before his birthday. He was planning. He's like, "Oh, will they not let me?" I'm like, you should ask them, and if not, we'll put it in my name.
Yeah.
He's like, "Dad, I don't want to do that. I want my own room." I'm like, yeah, I get it. But having that moment, finding that time with your kids,
Yeah.
making those memories, just to remember that once you become a parent, you are simply memories for that child. That's your existence from then on out. There's a lot
Right.
more you can add to your life, but pretty much you're making memories every day and every summer and every year. And you have to and in whatever it might be, because your kids will remember whatever you do. But
Yeah.
having that time with them, the road trip, that's a great idea. I like that idea. I would not do it. I still think I could handle it. I would break. But I'm also thinking I would do it on my own with my 4 kids. So but picking up another dad. But try a little mini home dad con road trip. We've had a lot of the
Yeah.
dads do
Oh
that. If you
yeah.
saw the guys getting together that went and played golf out with Grady and Charlie and Eric and
Yeah.
Paul, all went, and I'm naming guys that I hope our listeners know, but anyway, all went out together and just spent a couple days playing golf and sampling some good scotch or bourbon and just
Yeah.
enjoying some dad time, right?
Well, some of
Build
those
that.
some of those OG stay-at-home dads that started, back in Chicago when Home Dad Con, wasn't
Mhm.
even called Home Dad Con. Um, they, for the longest time, actually had their own annual fishing trip. I found
Yes.
out. I was talking with a couple
Yeah.
of the guys. I think it was the 25th anniversary here in Cincinnati, and they were talking about how they'd gone on they did these fishing trips all the time, and that was their thing, like a weekend fishing trip. And apparently, unfortunately, one of the lead people for that passed away.
Yeah.
So that kind of fell off the wayside a little bit, but just stuff like that, like it's important. Like it's so important. I know that, there was a conversation a while for like, the Midwest guys, like pick a spot and like, whoever can make it
Mhm.
could. I remember at one point looking for like an Airbnb that was kind of a big cabin with a lake type of deal somewhere, maybe in Iowa or something like that. And guys, could kind of make their
Des
way.
Moines.
Des Moines,
That's
exactly.
where
I think
we're
that was
looking
what
at
we
is
were
Des
looking at.
Moines.
That's
I'm
right.
like, I've never been there, so
Yeah.
sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
exactly. So, but I mean, and I'm still gun ho for doing something like that. I mean, things have kind of been chaotic here lately. So, but I think that that's definitely on the horizon for a lot of guys, because there's
Mhm.
going to come a point too where, you know, the home dad con itself might not have the things that you need because your kids are all older, but you still want to have that friendship with those guys.
Mhm.
And that's where having like, hey, like we're just gonna go to a cabin and hang out and just have some time hanging out type of deal is so important. Like it doesn't have to end just because your kids get older. Like you should still try to, foster that friendship on, because they're few and far between sometimes as you get older, and
Yeah,
I've seen that.
definitely.
So yeah, so definitely keep pushing ahead to
Mhm.
keep that happening. So but yeah, man, this week is gonna be these next couple of weeks are gonna be exciting. Also too, hey, we get to actually I didn't think about this, but when we're at the podcast movement, we get to do a podcast together
Mhm.
in person
In
because
person.
we got our recording once a week. So I'm looking forward to
Perfect timing.
just getting to hang out. We get to sit down together and do one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited about that too. That's gonna be fun. We don't
Yes, it
get to
will.
do that. We don't get to do that often enough. So,
Mm-mm.
but anyway, that's pretty much it for this show. We'll be back next week, and at that point, we'll have definitely conversations about the
We'll
podcast movement
be
and what
in
what happened.
Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
and we're milling down to Home Dad Con. We're
Mhm.
almost
Fast.
almost 2 months away. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Close to
So.
2 months.
Yeah. But anyway, until then, y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.